events and activities taking place this week. However, one of the main events is today's event, which is our government contracting in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We conducted this series not only here on St. Croix, but also in St. Thomas yesterday. And we are happy to provide this information and the resource partners here today for you to share information and opportunities that are going to be available, will be available not only now, but in the future for small businesses to partake in. Today, my name is Karen Jones, and I'm the Associate State Director at the Small Business Development Center. And my colleagues will be in and out. Ted Gutierrez, who is also the State Director at the Small Business Development Center. So we're gonna get started because we believe in starting on time, but I would like to ask those who are present if you can please just put your cell phones on mute or on silence so that there may not be any interruptions today. And we will allow opportunities for you to ask questions and get feedback from the presenters, as well as give you an opportunity to network with other small businesses here. We are doing this also virtually. So we have a Zoom link and there will be participants on Zoom that will be asking questions. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our State Director, Ted Gutierrez, to make some brief comments and then start with with a video from our delegate to Congress, Stacey Plaskett.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for your precious time. We definitely appreciate you attending this contracting event to learn more about the resources available for potential businesses that want to do some contracting, not only locally, obviously, but with the federal government as well. We're excited that yesterday we had this webinar as well, but we also had it in person at the location at UVI, and we had a really good turnout yesterday. So I'm excited that we're able to present this live in St. Croix as well today. So I want to especially thank our host, the University of the Virgin Islands, for putting this whole thing together. U.S. Economic Development Administration, who you'll hear from shortly. Obviously, the stars of the show is the Virgin Islands Department of Property and Procurement, as well as our other partners, Congresswoman Plaskett's office, FEMA, Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority, and of course, SBA, who's our main partner here in the territory. So I'm excited that you're able to attend this. Please, if you have any questions, don't be shy. The panel online will be able to pass on any questions that you may have. So please put them in the question and answer or the comment box. And live, Ms. Jones is going to be taking questions live for the panelists as well. So without further ado, what I would like to do is have a video from our Congresswoman Plaskett introducing and kicking off this webinar. Thank you very much.
Good day, everyone, and happy Small Business Week. I'd like to thank the University of the Virgin Islands, the Small Business Administration, the Small Business Development Center, Virgin Islands Department of Property and Procurement, and the U.S. Economic Development Administration for putting together this series on government contracting in our territory. For the Virgin Islands to prosper, sustainable economic diversification is essential, and the historic investments currently being made through the various measures passed by Congress in the last few years provide an opportunity to create multiple sources of income from a range of sectors. There is an unprecedented amount of funding that has been made available to small businesses in our territory, including $76 million via the Paycheck Protection Program that was given to over 1,300 small businesses in our territory, $124 million via the COVID-19 Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program for over 1,800 businesses in the Virgin Islands, $5.9 million in restaurant grants. Additionally, I and my team have worked to bring hundreds of millions of federal dollars to be spent by our local government on infrastructure and energy projects. For example, through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, the Virgin Islands is set to receive more than $95 million over 5 years to rebuild our roads and bridges. Our territory can also compete for the $7.5 billion in funding over 5 years for major projects that will deliver substantial economic benefits to our communities. The various funding and legislative measures that I and my team advance on behalf of our territory means that there will be numerous opportunities for local businesses like yours to acquire government contracts and ultimately deliver substantial economic, structural, and tech-based benefits to our community. Please be sure to take advantage of the information and resources provided to you over the next 2 days. It is my hope that the information shared during today's and tomorrow's presentations will be instructive and helpful for each of you and your businesses as we work to rebuild our Virgin Islands home, not just as it was, but as it should be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Plaskett. We appreciate you taking the time to kick off today's session. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the main host for today's session is Dr. Oluwafemi Banjoko from the University of Virgin Islands. Dr. Banjoko, please tell us a little bit about UVI and some of the exciting programs we have going on.
Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that. First and foremost, welcome everyone here for this Small Business Week. We really appreciate your time and effort. My name is Dr. Oluwafemi Banjoko. I work here at the University of Virgin Islands. I work in the Office of the President. I am a senior contracts and grants specialist. So I work directly with the research and sponsored programs, Mindy Sullivan. Also work with Dr. Haldane Davies. He's our VP for Business and Innovation. I'm glad to have you all here. It's our pleasure to have you all here. So currently we have the University Center through EDA, which I'm running as the program manager. And we're working with about 27 to 30 different small businesses within the territory, helping them build their capacity as well for contracts and grants, and also one-on-one mentoring and applied research. So that's one of the areas that we're working on right now with regards to economic development. And anything that the university is associated with, we want to make sure that we're reaching out to the community so that small businesses know that they have a home here at UVI. We're teaming with faculty and staff throughout the campus to make sure that they're also providing resources for small businesses within the territory. And of course, without Ted Gutierrez and his team, we wouldn't be here to support you all. So any and everything that the university has to do to help small businesses within the territory grow and develop, we're here to serve. So I bring you all greetings from Dr. Hall, the president of UVI, and also bring you all greetings from the vice president, Dr. Haldane Davies, who's here on campus actually. And so hopefully he may be able to stop in and say a few words a little later today. Thank you so much, and you all have a blessed day.
Thank you, Dr. Banjoko, for the kind words, and we're excited to be on the St. Croix campus in person. So fantastic. Now, what I would like to do is introduce Ms. Janelle Schindler from U.S. Economic Development Administration.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Janelle Schindler. I am the Economic Development Representative for the U.S. Virgin Islands, working for the U.S. Economic Development Administration. I work out of our Philadelphia regional office to support project development and grants management here in the territory. EDA is the only federal agency whose primary goal is economic development. So we do play a key role in distressed communities, such as the U.S. Virgin Islands. I'm a longtime resident of the Virgin Islands. I live just up the road. And so I'm really happy to be here today. I am also the field coordinator for the Economic Recovery Support Function. The Economic Recovery Support Function, otherwise known as the ERSF, integrates the expertise of federal government to help local, regional, and metropolitan, tribal, and territorial communities insular areas, and private sectors to sustain and rebuild businesses and employment and development economic opportunities that result in a sustainable, economically resilient community. The economic RSF is part of the Interagency Recovery Coordination that is ran by FEMA. And so it is a privilege to be a part of that. And that is where I am here speaking to you guys today. The main reason that I'm here is supporting the Interagency Recovery Coordination. I want to talk a little bit more about USEDA and some of the support that we've done in the territory. Currently, since 2017, EDA has provided $71.6 million in projects to the territory, leveraging over $113 million. Some of our projects, notably as you drove through the UVI campus, you saw the Medical Simulation Center. We also did the most current repairs to the airport here on St. Croix, as well as doing some repairs to the airport on St. Thomas and multiple other projects that support economic development and recovery. I'll talk just a little bit more about some of the ways that the economic RSF supports the territory. We currently are working with the Department of Treasury to support local financial institutions to create a CDFI. And this has been moving forward. We've had very positive response. What that means for business owners is this would provide more equity available in the territory, which is much needed. This event today will provide contractors with a better understanding of what resources are available to you immediately and what the procurement processes are in the territory, so that it will better position you to receive some of these federally funded projects. And I just want to thank you all for participating today. If you have any interest in finding out more about EDA funding opportunities, you can go to eda.gov, that's eda.gov, and click on funding opportunities. And I'm always here to answer any questions you may have as well. So I thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Ms. Schindler. Without the support of the USEDA, this event would not be taking place at this particular time. So we're very excited for all the support that we received from them and driving to put this series together. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Wayne Huddleston, who's the Senior Area Manager for the SBA in the Virgin Islands. Without SBA, obviously, we couldn't do all the wonderful things we're doing at the SBDC. And so we're very, very proud to partner with SBA, and look forward to hearing a little bit more from Mr. Huddleston. Please, thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. All right, thank you. My name is Wayne Huddleston. I'm a Senior Area Manager, as Ted said, for the U.S. Small Business Administration. Put simply, our mission is to help businesses start, grow, and succeed all across America. We know that the ease with which someone can come up with an idea, put a plan together, get funding for that plan, start their business, hire other people, and grow it has a direct impact on our ability to grow our economy nationwide and also right here in the Virgin Islands. Over the years, we have realized there are several key areas in which are most effective in assisting small businesses in growing. At the SBA, we focus on 4 primary areas. One is access to capital, and we have a lot of programs around access to capital, working with our local banks, working with banks across the country to help businesses get the capital when they need it to start and grow their business. Another one is technical support. And a good example of that is right here with the Small Business Development Center hosting this program. They have a team of people both here on St. Croix and on St. Thomas and across the country, helping people free of charge from thinking through the feasibility of their ideas to growing their business well beyond $1 million and more in revenue. They're a fantastic organization. We have that, we have SCORE, we have others. A third area that we help out in is disaster support. After Hurricanes Irma, Maria, and certainly with COVID-19, many people saw the support we brought to the territory with direct loans, with restaurant loans, and with direct forgivable paycheck protection loans. And we continue to offer that on a regular basis whenever a disaster hits. And the fourth area, which is what we're talking about today, is government contracting. Government contracting is a key to helping small businesses grow. There are many businesses out there that have only one customer, and that one customer is the federal government, and they thrive using that one customer. We want to make sure all Virgin Islanders have the ability to work with government contracting, whether that be federal or local. So today, during National Small Business Week, I do want to express my thank you to SBDC, University of Virgin Islands, our other federal partners here like FEMA and EDA, as well as the local partners like Property and Procurement and Virgin Island Housing Finance Authority, both of which receive a significant amount of federal funding that is available to you to be a contractor for. So, but even though we're going to focus on federal contracting and local contracting today, I want everyone to know that this does not have to be just during Small Business Week. There are opportunities all throughout the year to succeed in federal contracting, to get your questions answered. There are ways to make sure you're registered in SAM and all sorts of other areas that you need to make sure you succeed in that area. So I just saw a lizard run by. I think I scared him out of here, kind of distracted me for a second there. But with that, I'm just going to turn it over for today. I hope all of you have a good time. Hope you ask the questions you need to ask about government contracting while you have people here in front of you today. But again, always we're here to help out, and hope you have a good day today. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Huddleston. We appreciate the support and all the wonderful things you do for the Virgin Islands territory. My goal was to talk a little bit more about the Small Business Development Center, but I'm going to push that back to the end to share some of the exciting events we have going on to finish out the Small Business Week. And so right now, I'm very, very pleased to introduce Ms. Lisa Alejandro, who is the Assistant Commissioner for the Virgin Islands Property and Procurement. So she's going to tell us all about the wonderful things that's going on within the PMP and some of their new processes and how they're going to assist local businesses identify and help to guide them in bidding and hopefully winning some local government and federal contracts. So Ms. Alejandro, would you please share your screen and begin your presentation, please?
Certainly. Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead and share your screen and you'll be able to open up your presentation. Now, yesterday we were fortunate enough to have Ms. Alejandro in person on St. Thomas, but today she's actually going to be promoting and talking about the property and procurement via online from St. Thomas to the world and obviously to St. Croix. So thank you once again, Ms. Alejandro, and Ms. Moranci as well.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Well, thank you and good morning to everyone. It's certainly a pleasure for us to be able to present today. We want to say thank you to SBDC and the small business as well, SBA. We want to say thank you to all of you, the University of the Virgin Islands, and all other partners that put this presentation together today so that we can bring more awareness in regards to the opportunities that are here in the territory. Thank you again on behalf of Commissioner Anthony D. Thomas. We are truly happy to be here today to share the great things that is happening here at the Department of Property and Procurement, and of course to advise of all the opportunities available to our vendor community. So first of all, we want to talk a little bit about some of the improvements that we have undertaken over the past couple of years to ensure a much transparent and fair process for all vendors seeking to do business with the government of the Virgin Islands. We have totally integrated our business processes, which are now fully electronic. We have gone to an e-procurement system named GVI Buy, which is powered by Periscope Holding. The system that we have in place now, the procurement system, we consider it to be a rec to check system. This system allows for complete processing of all procurement functions and activities that takes place within this virtual environment or electronic environment. During at the last few weeks of February of this year, we were able to launch the bidding module, which allow bidders to submit bid proposals. It allows our team to conduct evaluation of those proposals, make awards, and also communicate with our vendor population. In addition to that, the department also added a new activity center in the procurement division, vendor maintenance division. Their primary role is to assist all vendors in uprolling into our system, as well as providing any assistance necessary during the bidding process. So we are very excited about this new module. So as we begin this morning talking about how vendors can do business with the department, we want to first note the first step for doing business with the government of the Virgin Islands is that you must get registered in GVI BY. That is the new, again, e-procurement system that allow bidders to bid within that environment, answer and receive questions, responses to questions, and all other procurement activities. By registering in GVI BY, there are some great opportunities that bidders have when they log into this system. For example, you have notifications. You will receive notifications of all opportunities that are specific to your commodities, the type of services that you provide. There are also notifications to advise you that your business documents or any other documents that you may have that may be outstanding or require changes in the process, you would receive notification. The system also allows you to add as much commodities as you can as your services allow you to do so. So again, there's a lot of benefits vendors have by registering in GVI BY. Now, if you do business with the government at the user agency side, and not so much in the larger populace in terms of large contracts, you still would be required to register in GVI BY. All right, next, the next thing you need to be certain of is to ensure that you view your government solicitations. You can do so on DPP's website or on our Facebook page. The links are here below, and we will provide you with some additional information to that regard. But again, it's important that you view all of the government's solicitations. Next, you must ask questions when receiving notifications that opportunities are there. It's important for you to ask questions if there's any ambiguities in the scope of work, or even if you're uncertain of a particular response. Again, contact the team and the link that is provided within the solicitation to ensure that you have a greater opportunity of getting an award or contract.
Ms. Alejandro, may I please ask you if you can go to your full screen for the slideshow?
Sure.
That way we could just make it a little bit bigger for the participants.
Certainly.
I believe it's slideshow to the top middle. There you go. Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Forward. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. All right. And so again, a few steps: get registered in GVI BY, view government solicitations as they become available, ask general questions to inquiries that you may have. Again, this is the screen, the welcome screen to all vendors that are seeking to be added to our GVI BY and become a contractor to government. Here is this is the page that you would see when you're beginning to register in our system. This is the welcome page, and then this is the home page for our GVI by new procurement system. In this system, you will be able again to add every commodity code in terms of the services that your company provide. And again, you will be able to have discussions, ask questions, and assistance is always available by contacting our vendor management team. Again, here's a list of all the commodities that are available. We use the National Institute of Government Purchasing commodity. These are commodity codes, so it doesn't matter what type of services you provide, all of those codes are there. All right, what you need to know that is most important for submitting proposals that count, and in order to get your company a seat at the table, it's important that you know your business. You must know the business size, your capacity, but the first step again is to ensure that you register all commodity codes relative to your business type. Based on the type of services that you provide, you must register those commodity codes. This is important because once you register those commodity codes in our system, when these opportunities become available, you will receive automatic notifications and updates as these solicitations are open for bidding. So again, register all commodity codes. You must know your business size and the capacity, the type of work you're able to provide, the level of services that your company can provide. This again is essential for every business because undertaking services that you are unable to provide affects your performance. And when your performance is affected, then it prohibits you, it's going to hinder your ability from receiving future contract awards. So again, make sure that you know your business size and you bid on the projects that your company is certain that you can provide. You must bid on the right opportunities. All opportunities, while they may fall within the commodity codes of your business type, it just may not be the right opportunity. And right opportunity being the right opportunity can stem from it's just not the right time for your business. You may be engaged in other projects that you would be unable to complete a new venture. Again, so you must bid on the right opportunities. You must know the local requirements for doing business in the Virgin Islands. So based on the type of services you provide, for example, in the construction field, you may have to interact with various agencies of government to ensure that you have, number one, the proper requirements. For example, DPNR might be a user agency that you may have to interact with. So you must know the local requirements for the type of commodities, the type of services that you deliver. You must become familiar with the processes and procedures within those agencies so that you can get timely services and receive the documents necessary to perform the services once you're awarded a contract. Most importantly, keep your corporate documents current. You must ensure that those documents are current, and they must be current at the time of bidding. For example, your invitation for bid or your solicitation type will advise you of the type of licensing, etc., that is necessary to bid on specific projects. At the time of bidding, those business licenses, your certificate of good standing, and all other relative documents must be current at the time of bidding. Also, we want to note that the government of the Virgin Islands have 3 specific solicitation types, and we utilize these instruments to solicit proposals, bids and proposals from the public. The first one on the top, invitation for bids. It's a competitive seal bidding process. in which awards are made to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. So it's not just about being the lowest bidder, having the lowest cost, but the bidder must also be responsive. You must ensure that you meet all of the requirements for submitting a bid to the government. You must be responsible at the right time, the right place, addressed to the correct individual. You must also be responsible in the costs and the services that you provide within that proposal to be the successful awardee of a project. Again, so IFBs are awarded to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Another type of solicitation that the department uses is the request for proposals. Again, this is also a competitive process. And what is added to that process is negotiations. Through this process, cost is not the defining factor of awarding a proposal, but the determining factor for the government is choosing the best valuable services. So while costs do have a rating factor, it is not the driving force as it is with an invitation for bid. Again, the request for proposal is a competitive process that allows the government to negotiate terms. We can negotiate services, we can negotiate costs within the RFP. We've also most recently added to the list of solicitation types the request for qualification. Our request for qualification is competitive as well as negotiable, and we utilize this on two basic grounds. First of all, we utilize this RFQ to qualify bidders and to set them apart. Those that meet the criteria for being a competitive pool of bidders for perhaps larger contracts, we utilize the request for qualifications. We also utilize the request for qualifications when we are trying to find those services, utilizing them for supply type services where the government intends to negotiate specific costs. So we utilize requests for qualifications, RFPs, invitation for bids. These are the three solicitation types that the government of the Virgin Islands utilize to acquire goods and services in the open market. So make your bid count. To have an opportunity at the table and to be awarded bids and contracts with the government of the Virgin Islands, there's a few things that each bidder need to do to ensure that you have an opportunity. First of all, read the instruction to bidders that is noted within your solicitation document. You must read your bid proposals. You must prepare them according to the instruction, and they should also be submitted in accordance with the instruction, and they must include all forms, attachments, addendas. Again, it's important to read the instructions, provide all of the documents that the solicitation asks for to ensure that you have a seat at the table. Again, you must be clear in your proposal or in your bid in order to be responsive. The evaluation committee that is formed to make the determination of awards must be able to clearly understand what you're offering to the government, what you're offering, and how you plan to deliver those services. So we must be clear. You must be clear about the requirements that you're being asked to meet, as well as you must be responsive in submitting your proposals, submitting all attachments, and all of your corporate documents in regards to the solicitation. You must pay attention to the date and to the time when your bid proposals are due. And this is really important. We shared this, I think, yesterday with the team as well in the St. Thomas district. We share that at one point we issued a solicitation, and we are happy that the community is anxious to submit bids and proposals. but it's necessary that you do so at the time that is noted within the RFP. Reason being, we've had bidders that have submitted their bids and proposals like 10 days prior to the solicitation due date. Well, sometime a few days between that, the government issued an addendum or amendment against the solicitation, which means something within that scope of work was changed. And so submitting those bids early and not looking back or monitoring those due dates, again, it simply means that your company may have missed a very important change within the scope of work, and your company, of course, would not qualify if you had not addressed that change in your proposal. So again, pay attention to the due dates. When the bids are due, pay attention to when you have bidders conference due. It allows you to ask questions. It allows you to receive responses to the questions that were posed. So again, pay attention to the dates and time. To make your bid count, you must also read the statement of work. Ask questions when in doubt. If there's ambiguities, if you're uncertain about the government's decision to issue or what the government's need may be stated within the proposal, please ask questions. Fill out all forms, all addendas, all attachments, exhibits. Fill those forms out and make sure to include them when you submit your bid package. You must submit all required licensing, your corporate documents, your bonds, insurances, financial statements, non-collusion affidavits, good standing certificates, your qualification statements, and most importantly as well, the SAMS.gov registration. This is a required document. Whether it's a locally funded project or a federally funded project, it is mandatory that all bidders, all contractors doing business with the government of the Virgin Islands must be current and registered in SAMS.gov. The department also provides assistance to vendors that are willing or seeking to do business with the government of the Virgin Islands, the central government. The department here also provide assistance to vendors in acquiring their SAMS.gov registration. So there are some common errors that we oftentimes see at the table when evaluating bids. And we would like to share these with you so that you are aware of them and to ensure that you cover these particular bases when submitting your bid and proposals. What we have noted is common for us is oftentimes we see the incorrect reference to IFBs and RFPs when they're submitted. What this does is sometimes if you utilize the incorrect RFP number or IFB number, oftentimes your bid is not counted on the specific project that you were bidding on. And again, so it's important that you reference the correct number and as well as the correct department. We have received submissions of proposals from various agencies of government, semi-autonomous agencies that was submitted to DPP as well. Now, we do offer the courtesy of sending them to the relative agencies, but you don't want to fall within this category and allow your bid to slip through the cracks. So make sure that you reference the correct solicitation numbers. And again, delivery of the bids must be sent to the correct email address. If it's an electronic address, if it is mail courtesy address, ensure that the correct address is referenced or your bid is submitted to the specific address that is mentioned in the RFP. We see discrepancies oftentimes between the unit cost and the total cost. right? And especially in IFBs, you must pay close attention to this because you may be removing your bid from the table if your total cost is not accurate. It means that you may be removed from the table if the department is unable to make those tallies. Now, what happens oftentimes is that when we see that your unit cost or the total cost is not accurate, it means that the committee must go back and do the tally. What we have found oftentimes is that while you may have been the lowest bidder at the bid opening, after doing the evaluation of those bids, you have lost the first place and is no longer the lowest responsible bidder. So again, pay attention, do your calculations, and ensure that they are accurate. We've seen incomplete bid sheets. We're unable to determine your total cost value. We've also seen costs or even responses that we are unable to reference, unable to determine what your submission were. So again, make sure that your proposal is clear and make sure that it is readable. Failure to submit your bids based on the required form. For example, the government request per month. We've oftentimes see a total submission cost of on an annual basis and not based on a per month cost. So pay attention to the terms of those requests. Your failure to submit your required documents is an immediate removal from the bidding process. When you fail to provide the required equipment listing, which is noted within the RFP or the IFB, again, that removes you from the competition. Failure to provide the required industry license also remove you from the competition. And when you fail to provide your subcontractors information, if you are taking on a project and you have added a subcontractor to provide some of the services that is referenced required within the IFB or the RFP, and you fail to submit that information, again, that will cause you to lose significant points. And again, it removes you from the competition. So we wanted to share these common errors with you because we think that a lot of proposals that may have been considered, a lot of awards that may have been made to your company, oftentimes we're unable to do so because of these basic common errors that we see from time to time. So for the government and for specifically the Department of Property and Procurement, we want your bids because, as you well know, competition is the hallmark of procurement. It helps us and it helps you, the vendor, as well, all right, to make profit on these solicitations and opportunities that the government have. So today we thank you so much for being here. We thank you for your participation in today's in this initiative today, and we look forward to any questions that you may have. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Ms. Alejandro. As always, it's fantastic information. I don't see any questions online, but I have a question, if you don't mind, and then perhaps we can ask the live audience there and say, Croy, if they have a question. So if my company submits a bid for one of these contracts and I don't win the bid, how do I know, what can I do, or what I need to do to find out why I didn't win the bid?
Great question, thank you. So we often encourage our vendor population, if you don't win a bid, all hope is not lost. Just request, all you have to do is request a debriefing with the department, and our evaluation committee chairperson and our deputy commissioner would sit with you and your proposal. You have a choice whether to receive that debriefing in writing or we can do it in person. So again, what the debriefing does, it helps the bidder, the vendor, to see some of the points within their proposal that they may have lost points. It allows you to see where perhaps you've made some mistakes. You did not submit relative documents, but again, it gives you a clear understanding of why you did not win that award and what you can do to submit a much better proposal in the future.
That's great. Do a lot of people take advantage of contacting the department if they don't win a bid? Do you know?
No, a lot don't. We get it from time to time, but bidders often do not take advantage of that opportunity.
Okay, wow. Well, that's a great resource that you guys are able to offer after the process is over for the potential bidders.
And what I can say is that what we have done most recently, recognizing that, is that we have added it to the solicitation documents so that bidders are aware that they have that opportunity, because oftentimes it could be that they were not aware, and recognizing that we have added as well to all our solicitations.
Fantastic. If I remember a question from yesterday in person, one of the participants asked, is there a special format that they need to submit the bids in?
Yes, so each solicitation type varies. All of them vary. And basically that information in terms of how they need to submit the response and in what form, to whom, when, and where, all of that information will be in the section within the solicitation document under information to bidders. And that is a section especially that bidders need to pay attention to for submitting those documents, for the form in which it should be submitted, how it should be submitted. So under information to bidders, in that section of the proposal, you will find your answers.
Wow, that's fantastic information. Okay, so it doesn't appear that we have any more online questions. Ms. Jones, are there any questions from the live audience there in St. Croix?
Does anyone have any questions that they would like to? Don't be shy. Oh, no, none over here, Ted.
Okay, that means you've done such a fantastic job, Ms. Alejandro. Everybody's ready to go and look for all those bids and start getting some local contracts, right?
Yes, we're excited. We hope to receive them. Thank you so much for the time today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. So I'm going to ask you to stop sharing your screen, please. And the next presenter, I'm excited to discuss a little bit about, or actually I'm excited to learn a little bit more about what they have going on, is Mr. Darren Richardson, who's the Chief Operating Officer for the Virgin Islands Housing and Finance Authority. So Mr. Richardson, would you please share your screen and of course, hashtag unmute yourself. And we look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Gutierrez. Thank you very much. Let me know. You can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. Just put it in slide mode and the full page, and you'll be good to go.
Okay, 1 second. Let's go. Are we there?
I believe you need to click duplicate slideshow. There you go. Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Richardson.
Great. Thank you very much. Hold on. Thank you very much for inviting me to this much needed seminar that you're having. Thank you to the Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center and the U.S. Economic Development Agency, along with UVI. I'm here to discuss doing business with the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority. On behalf of Ms. Dana Clendenin, our Interim Executive Director, I am Darren Richardson, the Chief Operating Officer. First, I'd like to start by even thanking your other presenters on presenting at this seminar. I love, especially when on a seminar with Department of Property and Procurement, they do such an awesome job. I like presenting with them. However, I love presenting after them because we have so much similarities in our processes and particularly some of the same issues we face with bidders. So without any further ado, I would just go through some of the information I have here for you. One of the things that we do is we do similar to the property and procurement. In we really do request services through RFPs, RFQs, IFBs. So not only do we do them, our sub-recipients or developers that we have work with us do the same thing. As you may or may not know, the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority was the recipient to distribute and manage HUD disaster recovery and mitigation grant totaling about $1.8 billion. Yes, that's right, billion with a B. So it's a large task, arduous task. We were an agency of 35 people. Now we are in excess of 120 and still growing because our mitigation section is still, I think we're still going to have to add staff in maybe an amount of 30 to 50 people. So if you're out there, just put a plug. If you're looking at job opportunities as well, please visit our website and you can find the opportunities we post there on a regular basis. So going back to our procurement, all of our current and future procurement opportunities are posted on our website, VIHFA.gov and cdbgdr.vihfa.gov and advertised in local publications. You can get to the CDBG-DR website through our regular HFA website. Also posted on there are the action plan that we have for the first and second tranche of the 1.8 billion. So that's about $1 billion that we have active access to right now. And they are guided by our action plan, which spells out exactly what we're going to be doing with the money and who's available and what projects and the like that we can accommodate with those finances. Interested respondents, if you really want, like you said, you could go to our website. One of the things that the property and procurement stress, and I would love to stress too, is please take a good look at the solicitations and follow them verbatim, line by line. Actually, what these solicitations do, it literally tells you what you need to do, what information you need to get to us in order to be considered for the award. Our goal is not to disqualify anyone. Our goal is to have a successful solicitation, which leads to a successful project completion and within the budget and time frame. That's what our goal is. So, some of the things that we want to make sure, and I don't want to repeat too much of what property and procurement said. We have some of the same issues, some of the same requirements. Make sure that you have your documents in order. Your insurance documents, your workers' comp, current business license, like, good standing, all of those are needed. Additionally, in order to participate in federally funded programs, federally funded projects, you need to have an assigned DUNS number, which and be registered at SAMS.gov. So that's one thing that we required to be participant in the federal dollars. Quickly, I just go over some of the quick pitfalls that we see as well. Late submittals of proposal. Follow the deadlines. Follow the deadlines. Make sure you continually check the solicitation before submittal to see if any addendums were issued. Questions that anybody else had asked, we post them so it could bring clarity. If it wasn't clear for you, we try to, all the questions I get asked, we post them so everybody can see the question and the answer. Please follow the format that the proposal requests. Keep it in the format that's being requested, or that may deem you unresponsive. Some of our procurements, we mandate attendance to some of the pre-bid conferences, site visits, and we do that for a particular reason. We want to be sure that the information that we're disseminating, everyone is 100% sure what that information is, what is entailed in that package, what we're requiring. Some of the particulars that we may need you to pay attention to in your submittal. So we definitely, sometimes, so when you look at that proposal, take a look to see if that mandatory attendance is required, because if you don't attend the pre-bid conference or some other mandatory attendance, that would be deemed as a non-responsive, even if you have everything else correct in your bid. So please go through these bids line by line, okay? One of the things on our construction side, one of the things that we take a look at is we have to follow some additional federal laws. One is the labor standards. We want to make sure the companies are following all labor standards. These are really, HUD requires a lot of stuff, and most of our projects are going to be funded with this HUD grant. So in part, in full or in part with the HUD grants, this is what the rules require. Davis-Bacon is another requirement. The Copeland Act, Anti-Kickback Act, very stringent in that. Right now, we not only get monitored by our internal compliance and monitoring staff, we also get visits, monitoring visits from HUD. Right now, I think our staff and every sub-recipient goes through a training through our compliance and monitoring department. But we also ask all our sub-recipients, including ourselves, go through the HUD Office of Inspector General, OIG training. In fact, one is taking place right now today that they're doing through virtual training, just to go over a lot of these stuff, because it's not a matter if you don't do these things that, if you don't do them, you might get in trouble. If you don't do these things, or you engage in some of these illegal acts, you will get in trouble. So it's not a matter, I think, I'm telling you, you will get in trouble. Contract work and safety standards, we want to make sure everything is safe on the site and the projects, and following our Section 3 guideline as well. Little for a deeper dive down, Davis-Bacon Act basically deals with payment, requires pay to be done on prevailing wages, which, if you need that information, you can find at Department of Labor. I don't think In the territory, we have a problem with that because our prevailing wages, the limits are a little lagging behind. We're in discussion with labor about that. So right now, those prevailing wages still need to be adjusted. So what we pay people in the territory right now is really above the prevailing wage. One of the things in contract work hours, it is mandatory. It is a requirement to pay time and a half for anything in excess of 40 hours worked in a week. So just know that as well. Co-Plan Act spoke about it. It's a federal crime to require anyone to give a kickback on any portion of their pay that they receive. So, you know, just knowing that as well. Not saying that it does happen, but it is a federal law. They look at that as well. Fair labor standards, minimum wage, overtime, child labor laws. Section 3, 30% of the permanent full-time employees of the company. When you're doing a project, I think it's on our end, it's over $500,000. It'll be subject to Section 3. It may be a little less than that. I have to verify, but we could tell you that we discussed that in the pre-bid meetings that we have. You have to live in government-assisted housing, have a household income below HUD's local low-income limits, homeless if you want to, or participate in a HUD build program. So those are some requirements when you get into some of our larger construction project. Those are for construction projects. So going back to some of the projects that we fund, not only do we put out solicitation for our projects, but we're funding with this DR and mitigation. We fund projects, infrastructure projects, housing projects, economic revitalization projects, planning projects, public service and facility projects. So those are a lot. So, and I'll just jump to the other slide, last slide I have here. We do some projects in-house, but others with partners, sub-grantees. And as you can see on the screen, there's a list of our sub-grantees that we actually have agreements with right now. There's more that we're working through to get to those agreements, but currently who have agreements, we have agreements with WAPA. They're doing some projects on some power generation, the Harley power plant. I think that's a $90+ million project, getting those generators in. Housing Authority, they're doing some a project, a Duno bypass project on St. Thomas. Right now, we have some funding in there on that. Department of Labor, they're doing a workforce development program. I think it's Skills for Tomorrow, Skills for Today. I can't remember the name of it, but it's dealing with a lot of the skills that we need right now in our construction industry, in our construction support, in our support industry. The EDA, we have a program with them. I think we're funding their Vision 2040. Lutheran Social Services has a grant with us. You see Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority on there. Yes, we apply for some of that funding as well on the housing that we're going to do some of our new housing projects, including projects on St. Thomas and St. Croix. We're looking at one in St. John that we want to put in an application for. We just have to work and identify the parcel of land. Also, emergency housing units. We're using some of that funding to develop some emergency housing units, which we lacked after the storms. Department of Tourism, they were awarded a grant as well. The Lieutenant Governor's Office, in their street naming initiative, their street sign initiative, they were awarded some funding as well. Jackson Development, Megan's Junction and St. Thomas was awarded some funds. So as you can see, in wrapping up, I just want to say there's a lot of opportunity that we have in the territory. Right now, we're putting together the mitigation action plan, which is going to be, I think, another $770 million. So that would be on our website as well. All our plans, we try to make it's a requirement to be as transparent as we can be. We also, when we do our action plan, we advertise for public comment. So, you know, we try to be as transparent. All our contracts that we have are posted on our website as well. So it's okay to go there and see everything that was funded through the disaster recovery program and what will be funded through the mitigation program. So with that, I am going to give out information and a point of contact. Procurement and Contracting Manager is Ms. Janine Blyden. She can be contacted at jblyden, JBLYDEN at VIHFA.gov. With that, I would end my presentation and thank you once again for the opportunity, Mr. Gutierrez, to be a presenter with doing business in the territory. And I stand ready to answer any questions that you or anyone else may have.
Good morning, Mr. Richardson. Once again, wow, that was very informational. Thank you so much for the time. So I'm looking in the chat. I don't see any questions at this particular time, but I have a question for you. So if I was interested in submitting for a contract with VI Housing Finance Authority, would I go to you first or would I go to Property and Procurement first? What would be my first step?
No, what we do, because we're semi-autonomous, we do our own procurements. What we're going to do is, with some assistance from the Department of Property and Procurement, we're going to act so we could have a site where we try to get all our procurements out, because as you know, competition is a good thing for procurement. You know, that's why we procure. We want that competition. We're going to try to put our solicitations out as many places. We advertise in the newspaper. We advertise on our website. We're going to see if we can get advertising as well on Property and Procurement's website. We do social media on our social media page and in any other place on the website for Office of Disaster Recovery. So you would come to us to get to the solicitation, but we will put the solicitation, try to get it out in as many places as possible. But your application will be coming through the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that clarification. So before we move on to our next presenter, what I would like to do is take an opportunity to thank our wonderful interpreters joining us today in St. Croix. So thank you very much. Your assistance is very, very much appreciated. And thank you to FEMA for allowing us to have these interpreters. Without them, obviously, we would not be able to reach such an amazing audience. So thank you very much to our interpreters and to FEMA for allowing them to come and interpret for these presentation. So our next guest is going to speak in regards to surety bonding. His name is Mr. Ernest Knoll, and he's with the SBA Surety Bonding, and he's going to present with us about what you need to get a surety bond and what is a surety bond, etc. So this is important because I believe that you are not able to actually get awarded contracts if you don't have a surety bond in place. But he'll be able to clarify all of that information with us. So Mr. Knoll, go ahead and unmute yourself and we will begin your presentation.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, we're going to start your presentation, Ms. Sharika.
Okay. Okay, I would like to give you an overview of contract bonding and the advantages of using SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program, or SBG program for short. This information will help you understand bonding for government and other contracts. Of course, after the presentation, we will open it up to questions and answers, and you can submit them to the chat. Okay, can you click on the, right, we're gonna, this program has been opening doors to bonding since 1970. Let's begin with a brief video overview of SBG program before we dig deeper. Can you click on the video? Yeah, okay.
Small businesses are a critical part of the U.S. economy, and through the SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program, we help small businesses. Small businesses are a critical part of the U.S. economy, and through the SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program, we help small businesses at various stages. Emerging businesses that need contract surety bonds but may be new to bonding, as well as established businesses looking to increase their current bonding limits and capacity. For over 50 years, SBA's Surety Bond Guarantee Program has been a trusted program creating access, opportunity, and stability for thousands of small businesses needing surety bonds, as in more than $7 billion a year in contract bonds. If you own a small business in construction or service industry and require a contract surety bond, with SBA guaranteed bonds, your working capital requirements are lower and your bond capacity is increased. The result? You compete for larger contracts or build your business as a prime contractor. Who benefits when small businesses get access to surety bonds? We all do. With access to bonds and increased bonding limits, small businesses grow, and that growth has ripple effects, such as hiring employees from local communities and contributing to the national economy. Convenience, not hassle. The program has low barriers to entry. It's easy to use. The entire process is electronic, and you receive fast decisions within hours for smaller contracts and less than 2 days for large dollar contracts. Sound like a program for you? Reach out to your local SBA district office to learn more, or take the first step to apply for the program by connecting with a surety agent authorized to issue SBA guaranteed bonds. Find a surety partner at sba.gov/OSG. Because at SBA, we make small business our business.
Okay, and the next slide. Okay. Yes, right there. Surety bond is an umbrella term. License, permit bonds, court bonds, even custom bonds are surety bonds. Contract bonds are also surety bonds.
Small businesses
and are the bonds that SBA guarantee. Small businesses in construction often need contract surety bonds for government contracts. You may also find bond requirements on contracts for janitorial, mowing, and other services. Contracts for supplies, materials like doors and hardware, or manufacturing contracts for materials such as road signs and guardrails. The federal government requires bonds on construction contracts greater than $150,000, but bond requirement for non-construction contracts may vary. Other public and private project owners may have similar bond requirements, perhaps even on smaller contract size. It's important for you as a small business owner to be aware of any bond requirement on your project as early as possible in the bid or negotiation process. Why is that important? Because if you don't already have bonding in place, or if your current bond limits aren't high enough, you're going to need time to apply for bonding or increase in your bonding limits, and you'll have a limited amount of time to do so. SBA guarantee bonds on all types of contract and subcontracts up to $6.5 million, and on direct federal contracts up to $10 million. Those limits are per project, so we have lots of capacity to help your small business grow. Next slide. To obtain bonding, your business will be evaluated by a surety company in 3 areas: capacity, capital, and character. Your bond limit will be based on these reviews. You have a per project bond limit and a total bonding program limit. Capacity is the ability to complete the work based on your company's past experience, owners and key personnel experience, and your business management practices. Your experience determines your per project bond limit, which is usually set at 2 times your largest job completed. Capital is your company's cash flow, profitability, and the quality of your financial statements. The working capital from your most recent balance sheet usually determines the total bonding limit. The more working capital and net worth you have in your company, the more bonding capacity you can usually obtain. Character includes the principal's credit history of the owner of the business, plus the business reputation. Good character is required to obtain an SBA bond guarantee, and is even more important when a small business is challenged in the other 2 areas, capacity and capital. If you're new to the bonding process, you can pre-qualify with a surety company today so you know your bonding limit before you start bidding or negotiating for a bonded contract. We encourage you to begin today. Don't wait until you have a project with a bond requirement that you're interested in. With tight bid deadlines and strong competition, you need to be prepared. Next slide. But what if your business is new and you've never completed a project? What if you have credit issues or a very low capital? What if you already have a bond program but want higher bond limits? That's where the SBG program comes in. We help small businesses facing bonding challenges like these by creating access to contract bonding, increasing bonding capacity, and eliminating the barriers that sometimes prevent small businesses from competing for larger firms, with larger firms. Next slide. SBA help level the playing field for small businesses by partnering with bond agents and surety companies nationwide. SBA guarantee 80 to 90% of the bond's value against loss to the surety companies in case of a default. That means your surety company only risks 10 to 20% of the contract value instead of 100%, because they have SBA's bond guarantee to rely on if there's a contract default. So what does SBA guarantee do for you? Next slide. Excuse me. If your business is having trouble obtaining bonding, need higher bonding limits, or is posting collateral or paying for funds control, the SBG program could be your solution. We help small businesses qualify for bonding with about half as much capital as the surety company would normally require. We also count the working capital that small businesses have available in their bank line of credit to help increase bonding limits. While many surety companies require businesses to have at least 10% of the contract value in working capital to provide the bond, sureties who have SBA's guarantee often consider 5% in working capital sufficient. That's what allows SBA surety partners to get small businesses up to twice as much bonding capacity. The unused portion of your working capital bonding line can also increase your bonding capacity. If you have $50,000 block with $25,000 available for use, that's an additional $25,000 in working capital through the SPG program that helps increase your bonding capacity. Excuse me. Okay, next slide. That's twice as much potential bonding capacity with SBA's bond guarantee. And your available bank line of credit counts towards your total working capital. These advantages are available only to small businesses in SBA's SPG program. We can also guarantee bonds for larger projects, even if you only have internal financial statements. The financial statements requirement for a bond guarantee is based on job size. For example, SBA accepts in-house business financial statements for many contracts up to $2 million, but require CPA prepared financial statements for contracts over $2 million. Next slide. We guarantee over $7 billion a year in contract bonding. Last year, we helped over 1,600 small businesses obtain bonds. Next slide. Okay, Vera Hall, a small business owner, knows firsthand how SBA guarantee bond can help a small business grow. Let's hear how the program helped Vera in her own words. Can we click on the, yeah.
We were bidding a security camera contract with a local college or university, may I say. And at the time, I was dealing with another surety, and I'm not going to name them. And so that surety said, what are you going to do? What is your estimate? And I said the estimate of that project is going to be about $650,000. Oh, that's too much. You need to stay in the 250. And so the insurance company that I was dealing with had already started reaching out to SBA. So I said to them, I said, I need to bid on this project. It's a woman on set aside. They have a DBE set aside, and I really need to bid on this because no one else is going to bid on it. And so they reached out to SBA that morning and asked them where were they on the process with my application, and they told them, oh well, yeah, we can bond that for her, the $650,000, and that's what happened that morning of the bid opening. I went in with an SBA surety bid bond to bid that project, and I was the only contractor to bid that project and was awarded that project as well. So it has been a blessing, and it has totally helped in my business to grow and to enhance where it needs to be. So that's one of my stories.
Thank you. Next slide. That's right. The SPG program helped Vera obtain a bond at more than double the limit her surety had set, and she was awarded the contract as a sole bidder. She's now bonding multi-million-dollar contracts on her own without SBA support. The SPG program is fast, user-friendly. We've been around for over 50 years. The application process is electronic, and our staff is experienced, professional, and responsive. Next slide. Now, you're probably wondering how long it takes to get a bond or to pre-qualify for bonding capacity. It's going to take the surety company several days to review your information and determine your bonding capacity or approve your first bond. Once you need a bid, performance, or payment bond, your bond agent will help you apply for SBA's guarantee. And that can take an additional few days. The SPG program approved bond guarantees in about 2 days. We also have a streamlined quick application that require less paperwork and allow us to approve a guarantee within 24 hours on bonds $400,000 or smaller. Next page. To qualify for an SPG program, your business must be small by SBA's definition. This is based on average annual revenue over the last 5 years for construction, service, or supply firms, or average number of employees for manufacturers. Your business and all owners must also be current on public debt, taxes, repayment agreement, and must pass underwriting standards set by the Surety and SBA. Next slide. You must possess good character and need a bond that you are unable to obtain elsewhere with reasonable terms. Your company must be a US-based for-profit business with legal resident owners. You must be eligible to do business with the federal government and not be involved in a current bankruptcy proceeding. Next slide. There are some costs associated with bonding with SBA's guarantee. We don't charge a fee for bid bond guarantees, but once you are awarded a contract and need a performance or payment bond, there's a contractor's fee of 0.6% of the contract amount that you will pay to SBA for the bond guarantee. And at 0.6%, that is $6 per $1,000 of the contract value. We also want you to make sure you're aware of the surety's premium. This is a separate amount you will pay to the surety company for providing your bond. Unlike SBA's fixed contract fee, the surety premium vary depending on several factors, including type of work you perform. Surety premiums typically fall between 1% and 3% of the contract value. So be sure to know your surety's premium rate in each of the states where you perform work. Once you can calculate your total bond cost, you can include it in your bonded project and obtain reimbursement from the project owner. The average total bond cost for small businesses in the SPG program is about 2.25%. Next slide. With the SPG Guarantee Program, you'll have access to 3 program area offices for assistance and support, and you can contact us if you have any questions. As the map here shows, we have 3 area offices. In the red, we have the West Coast that also includes Alaska, Hawaii, and Guam. The yellow, that area office is located in Seattle. In the yellow area here, that covers the midsection of the country, that area office is located in Denver. And then the green section here is the East Coast, which includes the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Which is in that area office is located in DC, and that's the area in which I am basically the director for. Next slide. Okay. Our network of surety partners help us give small businesses the opportunity to get the bonding they need to compete for large contracts or bid on their own instead of as a subcontractor. SBA authorized bond agents have access to 42 surety companies providing bonding to small businesses. Most bond agents represent several SBA surety companies, so they can work with you to find you the best surety company to meet your needs. Next slide. Okay. You can get started today by visiting our website to find an SBA authorized bond agent in your area. If there are several to choose from in your state, we recommend calling a few and asking some questions to get to know the agent and the services they provide. A professional bond agent goes beyond providing you with just a bond. They can refer you to a qualified CPA in your area and even create a roadmap to help you get more bonding capacity or qualify for your first contract bond. Once you choose your agent, they will ask you to provide them with information and SBA forms they will need to get you started with a surety company. Next slide. When you work with an agent who participates in the SBG program, you have a chance to grow your business by competing for more contracts. You can only access SBA's bond guarantee through an authorized bond agent and surety. Next slide. Okay. Before I answer your questions, I'd like to share some comments about SBG's program from one of the bond agents we partner with. Mike Williams of CCI Surety says the SBG program has made his company and the small businesses he serves stronger and more profitable by helping them level the playing field so that they can compete with larger firms and perform larger contracts. Next slide. And thank you for participating in today's webinar. I will now open up the floor for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Knoll. That was very informative. I'm looking online and I don't see any questions in the chat, nor do I see any questions in the Q&A section. Ms. Jones, are there any questions from the live attendees there?
Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask Mr. Knott? None? No questions over here. So everyone's comfortable with the information.
Okay, well, thank you once again, Mr. Knott, and thank you to all of our panelists. Without your participation, we certainly could not have helped put this on along with UVI and EDA and the rest of our partners. So I'm going to ask them to stick around for a few extra minutes while I go over a few other things so that we can just wrap this up. We're a little bit early today, so you can get out there and prepare your business and look at some of the offerings that are out there and submit your bids. One of the things that I want to do is I'm going to share my screen here. Bear with me for 1 second. As we mentioned earlier, this is Small Business Week. Are you able to see my screen that reads Small Business Week? Yes. Okay, yes, fantastic. So as I mentioned here, there's lots of events, and Mr. Huddleston alluded to it earlier, lots of events going on, not only locally, but also online. If you want to learn more about the events going on through the rest of today and tomorrow, you can just go to sba.gov and you'll see National Small Business Week. If we click on that link, and I'm going to click on there so you can see it as well. Here's schedules of different things that are going on. Of course, this is Monday, this was yesterday, and today, as well as tomorrow. It looks like there's a winter celebration, I believe, at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So you have to register for these events, but we encourage you to go on there and see what other options or resources are available to you as a small business as well. The next thing I want to share are some of the different resources small businesses have here in the territory. In addition to the Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center, we were actually able to help reestablish the Virgin Islands SCORE. And of course, many of you may or may not be familiar with SCORE. The SCORE is also a national agency throughout the United States and the territories. And there is a SCORE here in the US Virgin Islands. And you can just go to, and it's actually right now functioning out of Florida through the Broward County SCORE. And it's broward.score.org/USVI-branch. And you can get started, find a mentor, request a free meeting. And of course, the SCORE volunteers are just another resource for you and your small business. Now, finally, what I want to announce going forward is that UVI and SBDC were in the process of applying for an app, well, actually not the SBDC, but UVI last year applied for what's called the Procurement Technical Assistance Program. And this particular program, we were excited that we as in the territory were awarded the program for the PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. Now, nothing like this has ever been established here in the territory, so this would be the first of its kind in the Virgin Islands. Currently, there's PTAP centers or PTAC centers throughout the United States and in Puerto Rico, and hopefully later this fall, we'll be opening up the first ever Virgin Islands Procurement Technical Assistance Program. And so their specific charge is they're funded by the federal government, and their charge is specifically help and assist small business identify and prepare so that they can actually apply and hopefully win some of the contracts both locally and federally. So we're excited. I would say stay tuned to all of the SBDC, social medias so that you can find out more about those exciting events. And the last thing I want to talk about real quick here before we let everybody go and find out if there's any more questions is many of you might have seen the press release or online about the recently announced Small Business Innovation Grant through the Office of Governor Albert Bryant Jr. The SBDC has partnered with Governor Bryant's office to help promote and facilitate this particular grant. Now, keep in mind, the Small Business Development Center does not offer grants. This grant is through the Office of Governor Albert Bryant Jr. And I'm going to read a little bit here about what's going on with the grant. It's up to $50,000 per business, and this grant is focused on innovation. Essentially, how has your business been innovative to survive the recent economic turmoil, not only from the pandemic, but also from recovery of the 2017 hurricanes? And how are you going to use that innovation for future resiliency? You can find more information about this particular grant and also download an application for the grant here on our website, visbdc.org/SBIG 2022, or you can pick up an application in person, either Small Business Development Center location in St. Thomas and St. Croix. And of course, on St. Thomas, we're at 8666 Lindbergh Drive, or as many of us know it here in St. Thomas, the old West Bay Supermarket. You can't miss our van outside and our sign, so you can pick an application there. In St. Croix, you can pick up an application at 6300 Estate Peters Rest, Suite 4, and that's almost across from Cost US. So some criteria for the small business eligibility for this grant is unprecedented grant here in the territory. You have to be registered and licensed, currently operating in the US Virgin Islands. Your business has to have less than 100 employees, not contractors, but employees. You have to be in a business a minimum of 6 months from the time of application. So today's May 4th, you have to have been in business prior to January 4th of 2022. So that gives you the 6 months in business. When you submit your application, you're going to have to provide bona fide records either of sales or some sort of profit and loss / income statement from at least 6 months to a year ago, and a copy of your current DLCA business license. Online businesses here in the territory, we're going to ask they provide local bank statements as well. That way, the bank statements will show that they are doing sales and they're doing their business here in the territory. Now, of course, with those bank statements, we're going to ask that every applicant cross out their bank statements. And once again, if I didn't mention it already, all of these applications are going to be confidential and will not be shared at all with anyone. So it's part of the confidentiality we have here at the Virgin Islands SBDC. You can submit your completed applications in person, or you picked it up at either location in St. Thomas or St. Croix, or you can email it and on the application at kjones2@uvi.edu. We began accepting applications on May 2nd, and we will continue to receive applications through June 15th. Now, make sure that you take your time once you download the application and follow all the steps required, because incomplete applications will not be considered. And if your grant application is missing any information that's required, we will not contact you and let you know what you're missing. It's simply going to be put aside. It will not be considered for this grant application. So please, if you have any questions, please reach out to the Small Business Development Center on St. Thomas and St. Croix, or St. John, of course, 340-693-1694, or St. Croix, 692-4294. Or as mentioned earlier, please visit our website at VIHFA.org. And I'm going to pull that up here as well. And you'll be able to see online where you can go simply. You'll see this here. Click on that. Very simple. It's going to take you to download an application. And we also have frequently asked questions as well. So please read the application, the requirements, and the frequently asked questions. And we look forward to helping spread the word out about this grant and helping to stimulate our local economy, and so that we can have a little bit of injection for our current businesses. And once again, this whole grant is based on innovation. So once again, please read the application and make sure that you turn in submitted applications that are complete. Okay, so how to contact us, how to find us. Once again, here are our telephone numbers: St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. You can email us, or you can visit our website. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or simply you can download our app either on the Apple or Android platforms. I believe if you have your camera right now, put it to the screen and take a picture of those QR codes. If not, download it, and you can have instant access to SBDC and all the wonderful things we're doing here for the territory now and for the future. We're excited to be in our 37th year of existence in the territory, and we're so excited to continue to provide assistance. And thank you all very much. Thank you to all of our wonderful guests, the panelists today, for your participation. And we look forward to continued growth and prosperity in the economy. So have a fantastic, wonderful day. Oh, I'm not going to let you all leave yet. I have one more important thing to promote. And that's going to be, give me 1 second here. I'm going to promote our big event that we have coming up tomorrow on St. Thomas. And that is our Women's Business Expo 2022, Power of the Pack, supporting women's business owners. So it's tomorrow on St. Thomas, and this is not going to be live streamed. It's going to be in person. I believe there's 1 or 2 vendor spots available left. So if you're interested in becoming a vendor, the contact information is 340-227-4992, or you can email questions at swilliams@greaterexplorationtours.com. You can scan this QR code at the bottom of your screen for the application, or once again, you can visit our website. And our location tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the Old West Bay Supermarket here on the corner of the UVI campus across from the airport. So once again, thank you to all of our sponsors, all of our participants and partners, and thank you most of all to you, the business owners who are still in business and who can hopefully grow their business and continue to strengthen the economy from within. Once again, my name is Ted J. Gutierrez, and I'm the State Director for the Small Business Development Center, and I appreciate your time and look forward to seeing either you or all your friends tomorrow at the event that we have here on St. Thomas. Have a fantastic rest of the week and have a good day. Bye-bye.